Shalom Aleichem says, "Ein Elohim man yovi Ezra. Ezra b'madon says, "Man b'azaritin, and b'drog lachadim shemrecho. Hinei le'onam l'shem shom Yisrael adonai shemrecho adonai tzil chad yadim menacha yem Hashem shlo yekak v'yirba lo'ilo. Adonai yishmecho mikol roi yishmer esav sheich adonai yishmer tzeitzach b'yachom yato v'yado ilo." Let us take some tzedakah. Always excuse me. Tzedakah is always a good thing, particularly Erev Shabbos, anytime. Tzedakah is the solution to all problems. As custom of Montov Elul, to do a little sounding of the shofar. With the hope and prayer that we should hear the shofar of Mashiach right now. Erev Shabbos, as I always like to tell a story, I came across quite an interesting story. The story was told by a shliach who unfortunately passed away lately, a young man, late 60s, Rabbi Halperin, or as he was called belovedly, Rali Halperin. Formerly was a soldier in one of the elite groups in the Israeli army. I think he served under or with Bibi. Eventually became religious, very frum, Chassidish Sharid, became a shliach, and was a head shliach and one of the Choshev Rabbonim in Rishon LeZion. And he tells the story that when there was talk about, unfortunately, giving away Sinai to the Egyptians, he, with a group of commanders, not sure exactly what other position they were, was in the desert and mapping out roads, ways in case the Israeli army will have to come back. So they were working in the heat of the Sinai desert, and once their plans were done, they had to get a sign-off of one of the top generals in the Israeli army, who came flying in from Tel Aviv by helicopter. After kicking up a storm, a sandstorm finally landed. He reviewed all the plans, made his comments, and after this was finished, there was some small talk. Rali, who was at that time already Chassidish Sharid, shliach, was a reservist, figured that this is a good opportunity to ask the general to put on tefillin, which he did. In fact, it was Chanukah, so he also offered him a Chanukah menorah, which he had with him to offer to the other soldiers or generals that he will encounter. This general said, "Look, I'm not going to take a Chanukah menorah, but although I never put on tefillin in my life, I will put them on now." To his surprise, he said, and let me tell you why. The reason I didn't accept the Chanukah menorah is because this morning 2 young Chabadniks already came to my office and offered me a menorah, which I took. And although they offered me to put on tefillin, I refused because I've never done it in my life. And then I actually used the opportunity in a rhetorical and a cynical way a little bit. And I asked him, "Why do you guys waste your time in going around all over the place? I've seen you in the bus stations, I've seen you all over. Why are you so concerned about going around people putting on tefillin?" So these 2 sweet young men said, "Look, we are shluchim of the Rebbe. The Rebbe cares about every Jew, wherever the Jew should be. And the Rebbe wants to make sure that every Jew has the opportunity to do a mitzvah. And therefore we do this, and we are his emissaries." So then I jumped on this cynical mode and I said, "So why doesn't he come himself and ask me to put on tefillin?" He says, "Why the Rebbe is not here, that's his business. But what we can tell you is, if we are his emissaries, it's as if he himself is here and he's asking you." Says, "Oh yeah, so if he's asking me, let's see if he's going to come and ask me today in the desert Sinai. I'm supposed to be this afternoon in the desert. Let's see if also in the desert he's going to come." Now, obviously, that was a very cynical question, which I didn't expect an answer, and we parted with that. When I looked out of the helicopter before we landed, and I saw you standing here, And I recognize that you look like a Lubavitcher Chassid. And I realize that if this man is going to ask me to put on tefillin, the Rebbe is coming even in the Sinai desert. And therefore, I'm ready to put on tefillin. Yes, the Rebbe is here with us. But what we're asking the Eibishter, we want him to see him not through his shluchim, but himself physically in this physical world, in the Beis HaMikdash, as Mashiach, still before Shabbos, and then we'll have the ultimate wonderful, most wonderful Shabbos. Good Shabbos.